Hello everyone, welcome to Learn Overflow. In this video, we will discuss another LeetCode problem, that is the My Calendar 3. So this is a hard type problem and we'll understand how we can solve this question and what this question is actually asking us to do. So before moving on, if you haven't subscribed to Learn Overflow, make sure to subscribe to Learn Overflow for regular LeetCode videos like this. The question says, a K booking happens when K events have some non-empty intersection. That is, there is some time that is common to all K events. Okay, this is the basic concept. Look, it simply says us in the first line that there are like K booking happens when the K events have some non-empty intersections. That is, some events are going on in this format. Okay, so over here, if you look at this timeline, if you look, there's like three consecutive events are happening. Like there is some time that is common to all k events. There are three events, and there are some time that is common to all of the three. Fine. So that's k booking happens. So there is like some non-empty intersection is there. Okay. So that's the k booking happens. They are trying to explain us triggers. Further, it says you are given some events, start and end. So start is the starting point, including start. End is the ending point, excluding end. Okay, that's what it means. Through the brackets. After each given event, return an integer k. So we need to return an integer k representing the maximum k booking between all the previous events. So the maximum k bookings that can be possible between all the previous events. So that's what we need to do. Right. Further, it says like we are given an class, my calendar 3. So this is my calendar 3 class given to us, and then we need to do something like there's an constructor is there that initializes the object, and then there's an int book function is there. Book function is there, and this book function is like start and end, and then it returns an integer k. It returns an integer k, represents the largest integer such that there exists a k booking in the calendar. Fine. So I hope the question is pretty clear. Like we need to find out this kind of intersection where maximum number of concurrent events are going on. So the question is simply asking us to like asking us to find the maximum number of concurrent ongoing events at any time. Okay. So what is the maximum number of concurrent ongoing events? Okay. So if you remember, there was a question previously called My Meetings. Okay, and you will find that on LeetCode. That was like My Meetings 2 was the question, which focuses on actually this kind of concept where there is a meeting room and you need to find how many meetings can be going on in that room. Okay, so that was the question, and it was like a similar question we have over here. Like we need to find in concurrently how many like the events can be going on, maximum number of events. Okay, so that's the pretty simple question. Now uh, how can you do that? We can simply log this start and end time, as I said, like start and end. Okay, so we can simply log this start and end time, and based on that, what we can do is like uh, for each start of ongoing event, we say like there's an increment, like there's an one event is starting. Okay, and for each end of an ongoing event, we'll say the number of ongoing event count will decrease. Okay, say over here we make it like one, over here we make it like two, ongoing event count two, over here we make it ongoing event count three, over here we make it back to two. Why is it so? Because ongoing event became two over here, and then over here we make it like ongoing event count is one, and then we say like zero ongoing event further. So this is the kind of thing we can do. Like whenever we find a start, okay, we simply increment that position value, and whenever we find the end, we simply decrement the total counts. That's a pretty simple thing we can do, right? Now, how can we do that? Like, what kind of data structure we can do? Like, the pretty simple task is to we need to scan through this timeline. Say this is a timeline we have, and we need to scan through this timeline to figure out the maximum number of events at a time, right? So the maximum number we reached over there is three, and then we found it reduced to two, right? So that's the idea. So if we are trying to do this, then what kind of data structure we can do? The most obvious kind of data structure we can do is like an array. Okay, it's like take an array, in that over here, whatever the time is, just increment with plus one, And whenever there's a decrement needed, decrement it with -1. Fine. And keep going. Okay. Now the problem with array is the array can be very sparse. As I am showing it, there are like multiple values in between, right? I'm just checking multiple array values that can be over here. Fine. So there can be multiple values before a plus is there and before a end is there. Okay, there can be another value that's starting over here and say ending somewhere of out over here. Okay, so what we are doing with this in like in between memory spaces, they are getting wasted, right? They are like simply a waste of memory space. What I'm trying to mean is, say as an example, say look over here, this two example. The start is at 10 and end is at 20, right? And the next start is at 50 and end is at 60. Now, what about the in between? Like from 20 to 50, there are like literally 30 array spaces, but all of them are waste because we don't have like we don't need those spaces, right? And if there's anything that comes up in between, that maybe one two values that are getting needed, but there are 30 spaces on an average getting wasted, right? For this example, so we need to find something that will help us, like to as we know that the array spaces are like much very sparse values can be there, so we need something to come up with this. So for this purpose, we can use a, sorted map. A sorted map in our order, like this values will be sorted for us. Okay, this 10 comes before 20. Okay, this kind of sorting. Okay, whoever comes first, like whoever has a start at the beginning, that will come first. So that's kind of sorted map we need. Okay, now uh, so we will use a sorted map over here, and then the sorted map will actually simulate us to help us like save the space, extra space we are having in our array kind of concept. Okay, so this will be the first solution, and this is the solution we'll go ahead and write quickly. Okay, let's quickly write the solution, but also remember there can be another kind of solution using a segment tree. So a segment tree is something you can use for this kind of solutions also, fine. But I'll make a different video explaining about the segment tree and then explaining about this question, so that will be a different video altogether. Let's in this question in this video explain understand about uh, this timeline concept, like timeline using a sorted map, you mean a tree map will be used. So let's quickly do that. Okay. Yes, so you can see like it's not the fastest solution, as I say. To make come it up in like much faster solution, like a 10 millisecond or 15 millisecond solution, you need to use a segmented tree. Okay, I will make a different video for that. But for this kind of solution, also we are getting it much faster, like faster than 73%. Okay, now let's understand what we did with this. Like how we solved this. First of all, we took a tree map, fine, and this tree map we just initialized in our constructor. Further, what we did, we have this book function, and there are like you're doing two important steps over here. What are this? Say you got this like timeline dot put. As you know, in like a map, we do something called map dot put, right? And our map name over here is timeline. So we are just doing timeline dot put and then start. Okay, and start the like we'll use what value like what value to map to. So it is mapping to like see first of all it is looking if there is any previously starts are there or not. Okay, so timeline and get or default. So timeline dot get start. If you have done that, so it have returned if there is any previous start or not. Okay, so by default it should be 0. That means there isn't any previous start at that position. And whatever the value is, if there is any previous start at that position or the default value is 0, we are adding 1. That means we are just making sure that there's one start. So what's happening in this, if we just try to look at this carefully, so say there's like 10. Okay, so what we're doing, we are like over here, see, so we have something called 10 over here, and we are marking that this is initially 1. Like after this first line observation, we found this is 1. Fine. Then he found 20. Okay, that's the end. So let's see what happens. So end is like timeline or get or default, and it is -1. So we found 20 over here. So there's 20 and we do -1 over here. Fine. And similarly, we are doing something over here. Let's try to understand like other values like let's see this value after that. So what happening is like it found 10 again. So it will say get or default 10. 10 was initially 1. So it will make it 2. Okay. So plus 1 is there, right? At that. So it will make it 2. That means two events are starting from 10. One is ending at -1. Another one is ending at like 40, right? So that's what our value over here is. Okay, so that's what we are marking. That end is marking -1. So what happening? What we are doing in this step, we are taking two values, ongoing and this k. K being the final k we should return. So that's marking as k, and we're taking end timeline dot values. Timeline dot values actually return us this values, right? One by one, all of this will be there. And remember, this is a sorted map. That means 10 is at the first and 40 will be at the last. So let's see what happens. First of all, it says one of the values. The first value took us 2. Fine. Then k is math.max. Okay. And then it's got k comma ongoing plus equal v. Ongoing plus equals v is what's the current v? 2. So ongoing plus v is ongoing was initially 0. So it's marking as 2. So who is the maximum? K, that is initially 0 or 2. We found k is equal to 2. So k equal to 2 now. Fine. Then next value we got -1. So ongoing plus equal to 2 will be 1. So k remains 2. Then again we found -1 for this value. Okay. So -1 with ongoing changes to 0. Fine. See, that's the value changes. Okay, and it may have been a different case. It may have been like there's we have 5 and 15, like 5 is there, right? So 5 from here, if there was 5. Okay, so for that we got 1, and then we got 2. Okay, so ongoing plus equal to 2. So that will be let's take this also in our calculation. Okay, so here we got 15, right? So there's -1. Now if we try to check how these values are going on, see how these values are going on, you will understand further. Over here we got so the first value of v will be 1, right? So v is 1, ongoing is 1, so ongoing became 1 and k becomes 1. K going just to the maximum value. Fine. The next thing we got is 10, where the two events are starting. So ongoing plus equal to 2, so it's like 1 plus 2, that is 3. Ongoing now becomes 3. So maximum is k is 3. Fine. K became 3 as a maximum value. Further, what happens? Further, you can see it comes to -1. So 3 becomes -1 is 2. Next again it becomes -1. So max value is not changing. So k value remains same. So it becomes 1. The next value was -1, so it becomes 0. Fine. So this way it is going. So thus you can understand like how it's going on. Say at any position there are multiple endings. So there should be a multiple ending like -2 is there. It may happen. So we're just noting down at each of the position what are the maximum starting and maximum ending. How many events are starting from that position and how many events are ending to a position. Fine. By any chance, if it happened like 10 from 10, two events are starting and also one event is ending. So what would happen? So initially there would have two being the starting and then one would have been ending. So that would be -1. So this way it would have been a like equalized position, right? So that's how this question works. I hope this can be understood how we can solve this question. So if you have any doubts related to the question, make sure to comment them down. I'll be happy to help you out in the comments as well. So thank you all for watching this video. Hope to see you soon in my next video as well. Thank you.